Recording going. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. Just wanted to give a few seconds for everyone to jump on. Happy Sunday. Thank you for taking time out of your week to jump on these things. We hope that by the end of the night, you would feel encouraged, empowered, and ready to take on your week, whatever that might look for. So every week it's our goal as leaders just to kind of come in and encourage you and bring some fresh dynamics, whether that's in our IPAs or in our enrollments, or just some encouragement if you've been going through a season where you feel discouraged or you're just getting in your head. And so no matter what it is, we want to always be there and provide, any kind of help we can to keep you going in this journey. Because they say like the only time you actually fail is when you quit. And so it doesn't matter to me how many enrollments you guys get every single day if you don't learn how to endure this industry and really stay faithful to your why, your goals, and what you started in the first place with, because you can be the best in sales, you can be the best enroller in the world, but if you quit on yourself too soon, it won't really matter. And so we wanted to come on tonight, and I invited a really good friend of mine, Cora Biggs, to join me because I feel like her story really can help a ton of people. And I think that it's a beautiful industry that we're a part of, and learning from each other is something that's super incredible that we get that opportunity to. Everybody's story is going to look different. And so there might be some that you don't relate to, and then others that you feel like she was speaking exactly to you. And so that's why I love hearing different people, what they bring to the table, what their story looks like, because I think we all play, it all plays out differently, but we all can be encouraged. And so one of the reasons I wanted Cora to share her story is because she has had a tough year. And I feel like sometimes when it rains, it pours. Sometimes it feels like it's one thing after another, and you start to feel like you're drowning, or you feel like you can't get back to that place you once were. And I think so often we get a negative relationship with what failure is. And I know I did a live on this in our Hustling Thrive tribe about redefining your wins. And I think that that's very healthy. If you go on YouTube and like type in success motivation and look up Will Smith videos and all of those good ones, like every video talks about failure. It talks about failure because it says the path to success is failure. If we try to avoid failure, we avoid success. And so a lot of your story is going to come to this place where you're gonna meet failure head on. Will Smith actually said in a video, fail early, fail often, but always fail forward. And so the road to success is always going to have these moments. It's inevitable. It's not that one person's not going to experience it and another person will. It doesn't mean something's wrong with you if you experience it and someone else isn't at that time. It's inevitable. I hope you hear me when I say that. I've been in this industry for 4 years. I haven't once missed a day from what I've been doing, but I can't tell you how many times in that experience did I feel like a failure. And so, or I felt like my business was failing. And so it will come. When it does, I want to prepare you. I want you to hear encouragement from real life people who have dealt with hardships and are still fighting, who are still wanting to come out, who still want to cling to their why. So Cora, if you'll unmute yourself and just tell us a little bit about where you started from, just in case some people don't know your story, when you started with Le-Vel, and kind of give us a little bit of last year and all that came with your journey.
Okay, hi guys. So I'm Cora Biggs, like Jess said. I don't know, not everybody may know me. I know that we have a lot of new faces, which is really exciting. But okay, so let me just give you my backstory. So my story kind of starts several years ago. I went to nursing school like right out of college, and right out of high school, and I accumulated 18 grand in student loans. And that was just that's just the norm. They say go to college and then you get the debt and then you work to pay off the debt. And I love helping people, and I love being like that caregiver role. So nursing is like where I always thought my heart was. And so at the end of my second to last semester in nursing school, I actually got married. And our whole relationship had kind of been like long distance in a sense. We started dating. I was still in high school and he was in college. So, we would see each other like certain weekends, and that's like how it started. And then in the summers, he would go work with his stepdad on the pipeline, which 99% of the time meant out of state. So I wouldn't see him for like months at a time. And I knew we did actually, finally get like a full year together where we were both at the same college at the same time. But I knew like starting off a marriage, sorry, my dogs decided to be crazy right now. But, starting off a marriage, long distance wasn't going to be the healthiest. So once I finished nursing school, I had planned to go to nursing, but his job actually ended up offering me a position there that paid really well, and so I could travel with him. And so I took it, but it was like a desk job, like doing payroll and stuff. And I just never really felt fulfilled or like happy with that job, but I knew it was like what I needed to be doing like for our relationship. So, also I do have to say in our 3 months into our marriage, we actually found out we were pregnant. And when I was graduating nursing school, right before graduation, I actually found out I had miscarried. So we had never really thought about having kids that soon. We'd actually planned to wait a while and, travel and enjoy each other. But, obviously I always say God laughs when you make plans, because he always has another plan for your life. So that kind of just like woke me up to when all that happened. I found out I had a lot of different issues for conceiving and carrying a child. So that kind of like woke us up to that situation. So then, I had that to think about, like once I became a mom, like what would my life look like? So fast forward a little bit, I reached out to, you guys know Katie Pineda, and we were actually in a different company at the time. So she was in a different company at the time, and I actually reached out to her, and I'd been seeing like her posts and stuff, and they were really exciting. And I felt like, she was really successful. And I knew that, in order to still be able to travel with Kyle, but feel more fulfilled and still be in that position where I felt like I was like helping somebody or encouraging or caregiving or whatnot, and help still provide and like take some of the financial stress off my husband. And then eventually when we would be blessed with kids, still be able to be with them. This like network marketing was where it was going to happen for me. Like that was like the only industry that gave me all of those options. So I reached out to her. I did the other company I was in the other company for about 3 or 4 years. During that time, we had 3 years in between of infertility, and then and I had to have several surgeries, and then we suffered an ectopic pregnancy. We weren't actually supposed to get pregnant or have another baby for a while, but like I said, God has his own plans. And just 2 months later, I found out I was expecting my now 2.5-year-old son. And sorry, that gets me emotional. But so, at that time, I had been in the company for, like I said, 3 years. And honestly, like the whole time I was in that company, I was pretty much spending more than I was making. I was exhausting myself. I felt like I had to be glued to my phone. And I knew like with a new baby, like that's not the life that I wanted. And when Katie had reached back out to me and said, she had found this other opportunity. This was in October of 2017, I believe. So it's like 2 years. It was my 2 years this year with Lavelle. And she didn't even have to finish her sentence. And I completely like went with her because you see, my husband had already given me an ultimatum at that point. It had been not only like stress on our relationship, but just stress in general, because like I said, I was spending more than I was making, and I was on my phone all the time. Like I wasn't present like in our relationship, and, with a new baby and everything, that's not always the healthiest. So he was already like, well, if you're not, doing any better by the end of the year, like you really need to be done with this. So I already knew that. So going into a new network marketing company, I knew that he wasn't going to be very excited that I was going to come to him and be like, okay, no, I'm not doing that. But I did find something else, another network marketing company, and I wanted to do. So here's a little tidbit for a lot of people I know who say like their husbands aren't supportive, or they have people that aren't supportive. I actually he goes to bed a lot earlier than I do because he works a lot earlier than I do. But I actually took their credit card, and, I went out to my car one night and I signed up with Katie. I like did it anyways. And yes, he was mad at first, but I can tell you he is very thankful that I didn't listen to him now. So like I said, do it anyways. Do it when people aren't necessarily supporting you. That's when you have to like dig in and believe in yourself and know that you can do it. So a little bit about that journey. In my first month with Le-Vel, I hit VIP 800, VIP 1600, 4K, and then I actually ended up hitting 12K. So I got my auto bonus, in my first month, which was huge. I'd never seen anything like that in my previous company, so it was still kind of like shocking to me. But it was really exciting. It was a really exciting time. And like I say, that was like November. So also when we talk about seasons, a lot of people like to say that, this time of year through Christmas is slow season, but I don't believe that at all, because that's actually like when I came into this company and we really started exploding. So after I went 12K, I sat out 12K for about 5 months. I'm going to be as transparent with you as I can, but I actually lost 12K, I think the month of December or January, but I got it back like the next month. So I sat at 12K for about 5 months, and then it picked back up, right? So like I didn't ever lose hope there. In April, I went 40K, and in May, I went 80K. So it was really exciting time. So I was honestly, like I said, my husband probably didn't really believe everything I was doing, just because from the previous company I had came from, it was a complete 180. So, going, I'm going to say, so like in May, I ended that month with 153,000 in volume. So close, like even yet so far away, but still so close to that 200K mark. So it was really, really exciting. Just like everybody's teams were exploding. And, I held on to that for quite a while, but then a year later, so like at the beginning of this year, like Jess said, I've had a really rough year, and I kind of took a step back, and, I've lost a couple ranks. So I'm just going to be honest with you guys. I'm like not even maintaining 40K right now, which is completely fine. I let it myself get beat up about that for a long time, and didn't really want to accept that, I guess I should say. Sorry, let me look. But I see, I had people leave that I wasn't expecting to, but that's going to happen. You have things that I had people like say things to me that, like I didn't expect, things that got in my head, and I let myself believe those things as well. And so that's kind of like what had me taking a step back, and then it made everything, sorry guys, brought me into a different season. So like you have that season. So I had like a whole year of the season, like where I felt like I was on top of the world. Like I was, not only with rank, but I just felt like everything was finally falling into place, life. I had a healthy baby boy, and I was getting to, travel with my husband, and also like taking a financial burden off of him, and not feel like he was the only one. Not like, you know what I mean? Like you being a stay-at-home mom, you're obviously contributing greatly. You're raising the babies, you're taking care of the house. But if you're like me, you still wanted to feel like you could contribute somewhat financially, because that can be a stress on them when they feel like they're the only ones doing it. So, I was on top of the world, felt like I was finally like in my place. And then I just felt like I kind of lost it. And I really let beat myself up about it. I really got in my head about it. I really kind of just like disappeared and let it take me to a bad place. But okay, Jess, so kind of what I was going to go into next is kind of about your next question. Can you hear me?
Oh, I forgot to unmute. Sorry. Cora, thank you so much for sharing that. This is why I wanted you guys to hear this, because we oftentimes, I love celebrating women. Like, don't get me wrong. When you are hitting ranks, when you're hitting bonuses, I want to be the first to cheer you on, because to me, we are badass people. I love being a woman. I love working with other women. I love seeing you win. But I also I never, ever, ever want to be that girl that only cheers for you when you're winning and not there for you when you're failing. When you feel like your world's crumbling down, I want to be the same consistent person, excited for your down times as I am your good times, because to me, it's those moments that actually build you, that bring forth your story, that bring out your purpose. And I think, like Will Smith said, I mean, come on, guys, I came from Will Smith. We got to believe it. You cannot have a negative relationship with failure. It's going to come, like I said. And so, Cora, thank you for being open and honest, because I know it is difficult. It's difficult because we get in our own heads. Guys, we're our worst critics. We literally beat ourselves up. I'm the worst at this. I mean, the self-talk I say to myself is disturbing. It really, really is. But we get there. We have to admit it. And I think that that's when we can admit it, when we can share, you know what, hey, sometimes I'm floating on cloud nine, and other times I feel like I got knocked out from behind my knees. And both times I was still committed to my dream, but I got lost somewhere in the way. And it's going to happen. What you do with it is where that determines your path. A lot of people quit too soon. They quit prematurely, and they don't get to experience the breakthrough that was on the other side of that painful experience or that lesson that needed to be learned. And so Cora, like she said, she hit an all-time high. 150,000 in volume is a ton of shakes. That's a ton of shakes, y'all. And so you can understand going from that and dropping down, how that can mess with someone's mindset, how that can mess with where you think of yourself or how you view yourself or how you continue to pick on. But this is where I wanted this story to be highlighted, is because you have to keep going. You have to pick yourself up. And so, Cora, my next question to you was, going from one of your highest highs to one of your lowest lows in this industry, you're still here on a Zoom with us today. You're still here, you know, believing in your goals and believing that there's breakthrough on the other side of this. What would you be your biggest advice to others on this team on how to balance those seasons, how to balance your really fruitful, successful season and your seasons that feel a lot different when you feel like you're at your lowest lows?
Okay, am I unmuted again? Okay, so obviously there's been days I haven't shown up, and I know that. There's days I wanted to throw in the towel. There's days I don't need to be reminded where I'm slacking, because I definitely already know. But there are times, and there were times, and there are times still where I've had to put my phone down so I could focus on me. And that's been one of like the hardest things for me to do, because that's not really part of who I am. I'm the person that can't tell people no. I'm the person that will go out of my way to make sure everybody else is taken care of. And then if there's anything left in me, then I might get to do something for myself. And it's hard for me to let go of that or, admit that at times. So, I'm still learning, and I'm still struggling with that on a daily basis. But, it's something you have to do. I've learned that's something you have to do, because if you're not sometimes telling people no, or, scheduling yourself out more, taking a step back from everything, you're going to lose your sanity. And I honestly felt like that's what had happened for a hot minute. So, I'm still learning to give myself grace. I'm still learning and to understand that, I'm human. We're not perfect. And we're only one person for all of us. If you really think about, most of us are so many titles. We're not just this business owner. We're not just this mom, but we are so many different things. We're wives, we're moms, we're sisters, we have families. A lot of us still have jobs, maybe more than one job plus doing this. So you have to realize you're like one person. You have to give yourself grace. And if you are like me, you know, in that moment, I was beating myself up and, you know, telling myself that I've let my family down, you know, I've let my team down, you know, and you're putting yourself in an even darker place that way. And that's where I found myself. So I don't have all, I'm not going to sit here and tell you I have all the answers. You know, I don't have all the answers to always necessarily balance it all out. You know, that's just part of life. And you learn, I feel like if you're not learning daily, if you're not learning stuff all the time, then you're not truly growing. But what I can tell you is, you know, stay connected. Honestly, the people that I surrounded myself with the last 7 or 8 months are the only reason, like, half the time I'm still standing and the reason I'm still here. So I have to tell you, like, it doesn't have to be someone in your downline. It doesn't have to be your personal upline. Find people that you connect with and, you know, make those your people. Find your people that you connect with. Your circle is what's going to matter because, like I said, that's literally the reason I'm still here. I can't necessarily say that I'm the best person, obviously, to sit here and tell you, you know, how to be this mass enroller or how to go after these amazing bonuses we have out and go claim one as soon as you can, as soon as possible, or like in 1 month, and, you know, how give you this profound training on being consistent, because I know that, you know, I struggle with that myself. And my season isn't necessarily allowing me to do that right now. But what I can tell you in pure confidence is to not quit. So, you know, you're going to find yourself in those dark places. You know, whether you're starting from ground zero, whether you're doing it through tears, whether you're feeling like you've lost yourself and you're trying to find your way back up. If you are able to give up so easily, then you need to find a bigger why. The reason I started this all was, you know, at first it started because I wanted to be able to travel with my husband and relieve some of the financial burden. Then when we had troubles and ready to start a family, it moved into even more of being able to stay at home and be that caregiver role, so that when I was finally blessed with like that thing we had been praying for as in a baby, I was not going to have to miss a single minute of it. So if your why isn't moving you, even in your darkest moments, to not ever give up, then find a bigger why. So what's kept me going, like I said, is staying connected. So, you know, I may not feel completely compelled or qualified to give you those types of Zooms, your IPAs or your consistency and all that good things. But thank God we have such an amazing leadership team, because we can all bring something different to the table. And so, you know, I find myself still learning every day from all the other leaders in this tribe. And, you know, to me, you're a leader the moment you sign up and the moment you have someone sign up underneath of you. It doesn't matter what your rank is. But that's what makes our tribe like so unique and so powerful, is because we can all bring something so different from the table to the table, and, you know, learn and grow off of each other daily. So like I said, when you do feel lost, get near the fire. So like Jess is one of those people for me. You know, if you put yourself with those people that I'm talking about in your circle that are still on fire, that are still running, that inspire you, people that inspire you, if you get near that fire, it's going to slowly relight your fire. Maybe, you know, go at your own pace, but you will come back from that, because those people are going to be there to lift you up. You know, like I said, people are going to walk out of your business. People are going to blindside you. You'll wake up questioning yourself, you know, and if you don't find yourself in that state at some point, then you probably aren't truly growing, because every season, the closer you get to like your breakthrough, you're going to go through a hardship first, because you have to grow in order to get to the other side. That's pretty much all I had to say for that part. Jess,
I love it. I'm like so intrigued by your story. I actually am like I'm so thankful you jumped on this tonight, just because I can feel your heart coming through. And I think that's something that's really beautiful. I love what she said, is staying connected. We say this all the time, is when you don't have your own flame, get close to a flame, it's going to catch you on fire. That's why these team trainings, they might feel redundant. They might feel like, oh, I have to get on, but it's fire. It's fire. It's getting around fire. And like, I love that she said too, to connect with people in this industry. We're going to have each other's back. And if you can make connections with other people beside you, above you, behind you, below you, whatever, like, look around and find women who can cheer you on, like I said, that are going to hold you up in the good times and the bad times. And it reminds me of an analogy I just wanted to end tonight with, is that I think is so cool, is a redwood tree is one of the tallest trees that grow here in, I guess, America. I'm not really for sure, but maybe with the world, but I definitely America. And it is so tall. I mean, they like grow to like 100 feet high. They're huge. But the coolest thing about a redwood tree is that they say that they shouldn't be able to grow as tall as they are because their roots are so shallow. But the thing about them that allowed them to grow so tall is that even though their roots are shallow, they grow in groups and their roots kind of interlock with other people. And when they do, it connects them so that if wind blows, it can't really knock their roots up. And what happens is, instead of going deep, their roots actually start to spread out really, really, really wide. And their impact underneath the surface is really, really, really large. And so I hope you're catching that analogy really quick. Listen, weeds and trees both grow. So growth and all of that, it doesn't really matter. Your rank does not mean you're successful. You have to get that out of your head. Weeds grow just as beautiful. I was in the Smoky Mountains this weekend, and there were these most amazing, beautiful weeds. Get that? Your face can be pretty and you can still lose your purpose. The only difference between a weed and a tree is one has purpose, one has roots, one bears fruit, one has a reason to be there, and a weed does not. So please, when you are listening to these trainings, get in your group, find people who are going to grow with you and interlock their roots with you, so that when the wind's blowing your life, guess what happens? Your roots are still secure. You don't have to give up, because you have people whispering in your ear, hey, remember that miracle child that you prayed for? Hey, remember when you started this because you wanted to be there for that kid? Hey, you remember how bad you wanted this and now you have it? Hey, do you remember? Because their roots are going to interlock with you and allow you to withstand the storm. And guess what? The more that we interlock with each other as a team and as a family, our freaking impact is going to be so damn wide that we cannot be unstoppable. And guess what? We can't be unstoppable. That's not what I wanted to say. That we will be unstoppable. And guess what? The coolest part about that is as we spread wide and as we interlock with each other and as all of this happens, the trees are 100 feet tall. They stand the tallest out of every tree. And my goal on this team is not to be the best enrollment. I don't care about all the status behind me. I don't. I care that I interact with other women, and that not one person I come in contact with will fall with my roots that close to them. I don't want to be next to women and allow them to fall when my roots could have held them up, when I could have interlocked with them in their difficult seasons and held them up. We as women have to team up, because when we do, guess what? We become the tallest trees there are. We become able to rise up even taller than any other person or thing. We get to stand tall. And so I love, Cora, that you shared your story, because like I said, it's inevitable. Trials will come, pain will come, people will leave, enrollments will go down. There is always a high season and a low season, but if you're in the right circle, you're going to still grow. With bonuses on the line, you do not have time to quit, ladies. I don't know what season you're coming in. I don't know if this is your high season, and if it is, we cheer you on. And I don't know if this is one of the lowest seasons of your life, but I hope you know that if it is, we're still cheering you on, because your purpose is not tied to your enrollment. It's not tied to what you claim or what you don't. It's tied to the fact that you didn't quit on yourselves. So with all of that happening at this end of the month, guess what's going to happen even more? The enemy is going to try to take you down and silence you and get you to uproot and get you to remove yourself and isolate yourself. But now more than ever, you got to cling to your why, like she said. You got to remember why you're doing this. You got to remember why you started, and you got to stay put. Even if you don't know how to do the next step, don't move. Keep going, one foot in front of the other. And so, ladies, we just wanted to encourage you, because there are times that someone else might be winning and you feel like you're losing. And we don't want that to be in this tribe. We want it to be like, hey, it doesn't matter what season you're in, because I got your back. It doesn't matter where you stand right now, because we're together. It doesn't matter what your cloud office looks like, because guess what? We're standing tall together. And that's what this team's about. That's what this family's about. And I know M. Hastings didn't start this for people just to become really beautiful weeds. She started this so that we could become trees that bear fruit, that are so fruitful, that hold each other up and stand taller than ever. And so I hope that encourages someone tonight. Cora, thank you so much for sharing your heart and your story with us. It's powerful, and your breakthrough is around the corner. I believe it. I know it. And I just am so thankful that you haven't given up. So love you guys. And I hope you guys have a good night.